What is going on, everyone? Welcome to more of a fun video about a common question which used to be asked about a specific agent, which was then responded to and debunked by Valorant's developers, and now we have the same question raised once again about a different agent. Obviously, from the title, we're referring to the notorious Valorant Octopus theory, where Omen has been long believed to be an octopus. If you haven't heard of this before or you have no idea what I'm talking about, it may sound funny and weird, but this is actually a thing, and once you see all the evidence that we have to support this theory, then you'll see why it was a big deal in the community. Okay, so let's go back in time all the way to July 16, 2020. And for context, this is only a little over a month after Valorant went live to the public. There was a post made on Reddit with the title, "Here's why I think Omen is an octopus." If you read this post, you can see that it's filled with humor and a few touches of evidence where this claim is being made from. A lot of people in the comments also played along and put their own theories in as well, which made it all the more funnier. Little did we know that this post would be the start of something much greater. The post itself referenced their claim based on this player card in game, titled "What Ancient Mystery Card?" The card shows an octopus holding what appears to be a shard of radianite. The radianite itself, along with the details on the octopus tentacle holding it having this dark blue or purple and black colors, are very similar to the colors of Omen's character design. And we also know that Omen is a radiant. So could it be that at some point this octopus somehow fused itself with radianite, turning into Omen? Now it's easy to say that this is quite a stretch, and even though it's a pretty valid argument to an extent, it's definitely not enough to say that Omen is an octopus, just yet. Because after this theory kicked off and the community began to spread it, Riot themselves became aware and they actually decided to add fuel to this theory. Riot released a gun buddy named Ancient Mysteries Revealed, and if the title itself wasn't enough, the gun buddy is an octopus holding a piece of radianite once again, similar to the player card. Although it's nothing special at first glance, look what happens when you add this gun buddy to Omen's Soul Silencer Ghost skin. I'm not even sure how many people in the community are aware of this Easter egg, but obviously once people saw this, the connection between Omen and the octopus just grew even more. And this gun buddy doesn't change colors on any other skin except for Omen's ghost, and the colors that it does change to are directly correlated to Omen's design. The forehead of the octopus even looks like Omen's face. But Riot didn't stop there. They took this theory another step further with the release of the Neptune skin line. Here's one of the teaser images for the Neptune skin line, once again showing the same octopus except in blue and purple form similar to Omen. And in game, when you equip the dark version of the blue Neptune skin, look at how the octopus changes here. And obviously, this is all intentional. The community was pretty much set on this theory, and it just grew even more when we got yet another player card, this time showing Omen himself sitting by a fireplace and knitting, which looks pretty funny. And what could he possibly be knitting but an octopus? I think anyone following this theory would have been completely convinced by now without a doubt that Omen has some sort of ties with an octopus, even leaning in to believe that he was one before. But then came the day when Valorant's developers actually spoke up about this theory.
Is Omen an octopus? This is hard. We're gonna do this. We're gonna answer this question, you and me together. Omen is a man of mystery for sure. There was just always so many theories about Omen's past, who he was, who he is. And so lore theorists decided to connect one of those early player cards of an octopus who in their tentacle was holding a piece of radianite. And they said, hey, this card must be Omen. Members of our team thought it was hilarious, thought it was awesome, thought it was a gift to the world, and enjoy fueling that fire. The narrative just totally got away from us. I would constantly be peppered with these questions like, hey, Joe, is Omen an octopus? Is Omen an octopus? Is Omen an octopus? At some point, like, it doesn't matter what I say, it's what players say and believe is true, right? So, like, I guess Omen is an octopus now. No, he's not, but maybe.
Okay, so he ends off the video kind of vague, saying that I guess Omen is an octopus, then saying no he's not, and then ending off with maybe he is. And I think what I get from this, and what the majority of the community would likely get from it as well, is that it's basically confirmed that Omen is not an octopus, he never was one, and it looks like the attention gained from this theory was one that was really amusing and fun to riot, so they simply took this narrative and helped it to grow. They basically let us, the community, kind of shape Omen's identity in some way where to us he's simply an octopus, where in reality he's not. Which is why he ends off saying that he's not an octopus, but then right after saying that maybe he is. So it's like, factually, Omen isn't an octopus, the developers just played around with this theory for fun, but because we as a community can come together and build such strong theories and ideas, to us he could be one if we all wanted, if that makes sense. But long story short, Omen is not an octopus, and we do know a good portion of his lore story which does confirm that Omen was a human before he became a Radiant, and last I checked, humans are not octopuses. So with that case closed and chapter left behind, we now have Agent 29 Veto released. And lo and behold, what do we have in one of his player cards? An octopus tentacle, or tentacles. Obviously, this octopus creature that we're looking at here is a Radivore, because as we know, Veto is a Radivore hybrid agent, where he can summon this Radivore symbiote that he has within him in the form of his ultimate. And considering Veto's Radivore is technically a part of him and part of his identity, we can actually conclude and say that Veto is an octopus. So yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe.